We are up here. We're off of Larch Mountain Road again, and we're at Palmer Mill Road, and we're going to be heading up this trail here. Today is April 23rd, 2025, and it's a nice day, and we're looking forward to wandering around up here and checking this area out. It's been on the list for about a year, and this year, the conditions, it's a good year to wander in here. Okay, we're now on the old railroad grade because it's an old railroad logging deal, and we'll see how it goes. It's an interesting country up here. Well, the salmon berries are blooming, and somebody left his sunglasses on rather than switching them out for his other glasses. So everything looks interesting for me. This is Bridal Veil Creek up here. Got a little water going through it. Down, looks like it's down from last week as far as the creek that we were around. Okay, we've come across our first artifact. It's probably an old gate. One of the cool things about hiking up here is all the old growth. The Old Growth Devil's Club. I think you can see why it's called Devil's Club. This stuff is always right where you need a handheld. So if you're crossing a creek, going down through a drainage, and you need to reach out, there's Devil's Club and its spines. Sure sign of spring. Salmonberry blossoms. They're all kind of facing downhill, and I'm not going to climb down there just to get the other side of them. And here's one facing this way. It's a little bit old. They're just really pretty. Not very big. Mike has his own YouTube channel. I believe it's Ryan Creek Farm. I'll have to look it up and put a link down here. He has other stuff on there, but he also puts his hikes on there. This is reforested in pretty good considering when it was originally logged, and there's still some of the stumps from that original logging that are up in here. This reminds me a lot of hiking in the Tillamook State Forest because they had all the fires there, but here you get an old stump and the trees growing on it. It'd be hard to say how anchored that tree is, whether it's going to blow down or fall down. The cool thing about hiking up in here so far is the forest has been much healthier as far as supporting wildlife as some of the stuff that we were hiking into well up above. We're still working our way up on the railroad grade. And these old logging railroads were always interesting. And sometimes they had trestles and stuff in that they would replace the trestles with car roads, and sometimes you dip way down and climb back up, and sometimes they connected through the other railroad grade areas to shorten them a little bit, you know, take out the big switchbacks and stuff. This has been pretty direct. It's starting to grow in though, be a lot of alders, and these alders don't take very long at all, and they'll literally block a road. So this road's going to be brushing in pretty fast. I was reading where someone wants to create hiking and biking trails up here, which this would be beautiful country for that. Back when I was riding a bike a lot, I would have loved something like this. And you know, you'd climb up this and then come around down other ways or whatever. But I'm sure when there's history like this, I just like to preserve it. You know, it's logging history, but that's a huge part of this area. A huge part of how this area developed. This is where we get to the washout. And I think we'll get across a couple spots pretty easily. And then I'm seeing that up here flat. I'm wondering maybe back in the day when it was a railroad, they just had a trestle there. And when they turned it into a road, they just replaced it with a culvert. Okay, we're down here, doing this thing again down here in all these logs. Back up there just a little ways, we decided to go up on the side hill and got kind of on, not really a bench, but a less steep area. Inside hill for quite a ways, got around a lot of this. But now it crosses right there. So this is pretty continuous all along here. We're not exactly sure where the old town site is or was. We may come into it yet. I should have done a little more research on it, but for some reason I was thinking this went right through it. We found some notched logs back in there like they were part of something that was built. And there's some evidence of logging in here. There's a little grade comes in here, and there's looks like a loading area that was dug out where they could just back in and push the logs on and stuff. But we'll just keep wandering. Got a trail here and work our way up through there. It's been a nice hike so far. Section back there was a little interesting. Mainly it was just trying to figure out how to get through this time of year without getting our feet wet. Whereas I think if somebody was here in the summer, it wouldn't be a problem. As it was, it really wasn't a problem. It's just we were switching around and stuff to stay away from the creek. Okay, we're just going along a section where the road's been taken out, and I always wondered about the reasons for doing that, and I kind of know the thought process, but it's never really made sense to me, because you can do a lot of things like you can play your culverts and stuff like that, and it doesn't hurt to have the road left in, because if you need it again, you don't have to make a new road. And especially with these old railroad grades, there's a lot of history here. But we've just tied in now with the road we hiked last week. Yep, we come up to here and took a look at this, and there we are. Yeah, last week we came down there, went up here. We've tied in with this, and we're going to keep going. It's the, get up close, I'll be able to read it. The 1520 129 road. Trail marker. There was a stick back there, it had the way written on it and a few other things. Evidently this is a user bike trail. We've been finding some markers and stuff that are up here. There was one right back there. It said soft surface. Please walk bikes. This became a neat ride if I was still riding. Yeah, it's just pretty country. We're up here, and you can see back in there a little ways. We reached a fork back there, and we were following this. It's still called the Way, and if we'd hung to our right back there, we'd gone up and hit the trail. But this is the trail, and it's heading down through here, and it's just going through a lot of this kind of flat country here, and it's just been really nice hiking through here. Yeah, we read about this. This is kind of a cool sign. We're on the abandoned Smith Road now, and we just met a couple mountain bikers, young kids, riding uphill, and we were just talking among ourselves here something about, we can get one of those electric mountain bikes, pack an extra battery pack, and we could do this too. But that'd be cheating. Well, we took a wrong turn back there at Albuquerque, and we wound up back here on the Palmer Road, the old railroad grade. And so we're heading back down. Mike says we're over 7 miles now, so I think we've got about another mile or so to get back to the rig. And it's been a great hike. It was a lot of fun, and it's still fun. There's a lot of these little blue things all over. Well, we made it back down here, and we were really close to it when I did the last video, but you can see the creek down there running pretty good. Yeah, we definitely could come back up here and maybe hike this again another day.